Hey guys, today we're joined with middleweight title contender Jason Quigley. Jason, great to see you virtually. That's the reality nowadays. um, it-
That's the world that we're living in right now.
exactly. That's our normal right now. But how you been these past few days?
Yeah, I've been very good. I've been staying on top of things. It's been pretty difficult, I think, for everybody, no matter what line of work you're in or what career path you're trying to take right now. But I think the only good thing and the positive thing that we can take away from it right now is that nobody has been through this before. Nobody has the
Yeah,
answer. So we're all in this together, and we're all trying to solve the puzzle ourselves.
you're absolutely right. It's new to all of us, right? And it comes with the ups and downs, and just like we're going through that right now. Obviously, boxing is a difficult sport that comes with ups and downs as well. I want to get to know a little more, of your background, going back to your career from when it started. Um, what have been some of those tough decisions that you've had to make? Um, would you say that one of the toughest decisions was going pro instead of going to the Olympics?
Yeah, of course, it was a very difficult decision because whenever I was on the Irish national team, the whole aim and the whole journey and path was towards the Olympic Games. And that was all in my mind for probably 4 or 5 years, building up to that moment of qualifying for Olympic Games. And all that became a real big possibility when I became the European gold medalist and the world silver medalist as an amateur. Then I was looked at as Ireland's next Olympic medal hope. And then next thing, I started getting all the offers from the professional guys with Golden Boy, Top Rank. I was getting all these offers sent over to me, and all the interests were in turning professional. So that was something that was very difficult for me because all I wanted to do as a fighter was get into the ring and fight and do my job. But I had to sit back. I had to think of all these decisions that I had to make. I had to, think about becoming a professional boxer. I had to think about maybe giving up on my Olympic dreams. But giving up on my Olympic dreams meant that I was starting to chase my world title dreams as a professional. And that was the reason that I started boxing. I started boxing because I seen Marco Antonio Barrera beat Prince Nassim Hamed, and that was the first time in my life that I ever had goosebumps, that I ever felt the hair stand on the back of my neck, that I was watching it saying, this is what I want to do. And that was basically the reason why I went professional, because the reason that I got into boxing was to become a world professional champion. And when the offers came in, and obviously I went with Golden Boy Promotions, that was the dream come true, and we're still pushing on now, looking for that world title.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned that signing with Golden Boy was a dream come true. What would be the highlight of everything that you've been able to accomplish in your career so far?
The highlight, you know, representing Ireland at an amateur level is such a massive achievement. Winning the gold medal in the European Championships and seeing your national anthem and the flag and everything being raised, that's a real special moment. Winning the world silver medal, when I look back now, it was a very special moment. But at the time, it was such a disappointment to me because I was so close to becoming world champion. I was like 3 3-minute rounds away from winning a world title.
Yeah.
And at the time, to me, that was such a failure. That was such a disappointment. But when I look back now, I think that was a pretty good achievement. So I have to probably winning the European gold medal and having my flag raised and the national anthem playing on top of the number one podium as an amateur would have been my most memorable moment, and I think one of my best achievements. But as a professional, making my pro debut in the MGM Grand on the Canelo Lara undercard was pretty special, and beating Glenn Tapia for my first professional title, the NABF middleweight title, that was another very special moment. Two completely different special moments in my professional career. Obviously, turning professional, your pro debut's big. Making it in the MGM Grand, where Barrera beat Prince Nassim Hamed, that was very special. And then going on then, and one of my first professional title was also another nice achievement for me as well.
That's pretty neat how the fight that gave you your first goosebumps, and that's the arena where you're able to make your pro debut. It all kind of came full circle. That's
Uh,
awesome.
it was crazy. It was like the walkway before you come out into the arena. There's the big the lion with the MGM Grand,
Yeah.
and I remember like it was like 4 a.m. in the morning in Ireland, and I remember sitting up, keeping my eyes open. I was that tired watching Barrera and Hamed, but I remember the cameras behind the scenes on their walkway before they entered the arena, and I could remember seeing that lion with MGM Grand on it. And then when I seen that, I was like, "Whoa, I'm actually here!" Like Barrera walked this walk.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Wow, that's that's amazing to be able to have that experience, especially on your pro debut. That's awesome. And you were mentioning as well, when you were those times that you won and they play your national anthem, you come from a proud country of Ireland. There's a lot of Irish talent coming into the fight scene. What does it mean? How can you put into words what it means to you to represent your country, your flag worldwide?
um, it's like everybody knows the Irish is such loyal, real strong supporters, and they're going to stick by you, one lose or draw, as long as you put up a fight, as long as you give it your all. Very similar to the Mexican fighters, the Mexican fans. Ireland and Mexico have so much in common, especially in the fighting game. And for me, it means the world, because Ireland is such a small country, but the noise and the atmosphere that we can create from such a small group of people is something very special. And to be from Ireland, there's a lot of pride. And I think that goes back to all the troubles that Ireland had years and years ago. We had to fight to keep our country, we had to fight to keep our freedom, and to have all that. Obviously, that wasn't in my generation, but that has been brought through by generations and mindsets and everything like that there from years and years ago. And I think that has all transited into us Irish now, under the generation that I am. And the pride and the passion that the Irish bring is just something unbelievable. And I'm so privileged to call myself Irish.
That's awesome. That's awesome how you're absolutely right. Even though it wasn't your generation, but it's been instilled in you, been kind of passed on, and you can still feel it. That pride, that
Exactly.
sense of the pride of that you feel. I also wanted to ask you about, I've seen through social media you've met a lot of famous people, a lot of celebrities. Who would you say is the most famous person on your phone right now?
The most famous person on my phone. I've got a good lot of people. I've got a lot of obviously more Irish, famous athletes. Like I have Shay Given is one of Ireland's greatest ever goalkeepers. I have Robbie Keane, one of Ireland's greatest ever soccer players, a striker. I've got I've got a good lot of contacts on my phone, and whenever you're Irish, you kind of don't look at it as, oh, I've got a famous, or I've got somebody, a high celebrity or something on my phone, because all us Irish are we're so well connected that we stick by each other so well. And once you stay friends with somebody, and once you support somebody so well, it's just like a friendship. But I've got a good lot of obviously sporting celebrities on my phone, and a lot of Irish footballers for sure.
Yeah, I know you even had you're friends with even Conor McGregor, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
correct. And that's the thing, like that. if me and Conor were in two completely different countries, we would probably never connect. But because you're both Irish, I've met Conor. The first probably one or two times that I've met Conor was at charity events that me and him attended, and we've kept in touch since. And anytime we see each other, then it's always there. There was a
Yeah.
time that I think he fought in December, and I boxed in December in LA, and we were both on the same flight back home to Ireland as well.
Oh.
Like these are things that sometimes probably only happens as Irish people as well. And yeah, of course, it's something special. As I says, like you have these guys in your phone, and you're in contact with these type of people, and it's basically because we're Irish, not really because of the job that we do that connects us, but the reason that we stay together is because we're Irish.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The flag connects you. I
Of
totally get
course.
that. Do you think we're gonna ever see Conor McGregor inside a boxing ring again?
I think with Connor, nobody knows what he's going to do next.
Good point.
I, I don't even know. I don't even know. Does he know what he's going to do next? Connor's Connor. He likes to do things differently. He likes to do things his way. And look, Conor McGregor got in with the likes of Floyd Mayweather, and yes, in the later half of the fight, Floyd Mayweather proved dominance big time against Conor. But if you put anybody else in with one of the best fighters ever to grace the ring as a boxer, like we're talking ever, like he did amazing against Mayweather. If you put it into those terms, like I think Connor's a special talent. He definitely has a great stand up game for MMA. I think that's what makes him so special in his sport, that it's his stand up game, his boxing skills. And Connor came from a boxing background. He trained in the gyms in Dublin before he actually went to the MMA, and now he's back training with his boxing coach Philip Sutcliffe, that I know very well, obviously Irish through boxing, everything like that. It's a small community, and like I would love to see Connor back in the ring. I would love to see him back in there. I think with somebody not as pound for pound the best fighter in the world. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that we should get Connor in there with somebody that maybe at my level is just coming to that stage of challenging for a world title, winning a world title, and becoming world champion. I would love to see Connor at that level and really test himself.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if we'll ever see him in the ring, but we're looking forward to seeing you back in there. Have you had any word from your promoters in Golden Boy of when perhaps you can get inside the ring again?
Yeah, we've been in touch now very regularly over the last few weeks. As things are starting to ease up a little bit now, restrictions are starting to lift a little bit. I think with the travel restrictions and everything like that, it's going to be difficult for me to get a fight in America now, probably this year, maybe at the end of the year. But I was in line to fight on the Katie Taylor undercard in Manchester against a matchroom fighter, Jack Cullen. And I think that that could still be a big possibility in August time over here in the UK.
Yeah.
So that's what I am aiming for right now. Obviously, I won't be able to travel to America to get back into California or New York or wherever it shall be.
Yeah.
But I think that Golden Boy now, my promoters and my team, Sheer Sports, I think they're really going to push now to get me back out as soon as possible. And that's obviously going to have to be closer to home, Ireland or the
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will be against Jack Cullen in Eddie Hearn's backyard.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Matchroom was going to be doing fights there, and it's obviously closer to home. And if you can use that to stay busy, so when whenever world title opportunity comes,
Of
you
course.
you haven't just been waiting around. How close do you feel that opportunity is for you, though?
I think that I'm 2 or 3 fights away from a world title. I think that I get this fight in August, put in a good performance, do well. I think I'm ready then for a world title eliminator. I seen Julio Cesar Chavez is keeping ready and training. I think that that will be a great world title eliminator. Obviously, my coach is Andy Lee. Andy Lee boxed Julio Cesar Chavez, I think that this would be an intriguing fight. Also because of Andy had faced him before, and now Andy's in the corner with me. I think that would be something special for a world title eliminator. But we also have the likes of Jimmy Munguia out there as well at middleweight, who I think would be a massive fight for a world title eliminator. There's so much talent out there right now at the minute. I'm looking at Julio Cesar Chavez because of the Andy Lee connection, everything like
Yeah.
that. It would be a nice bit of revenge, I think, for for Andy as well as myself getting the world title shot. And then you have the likes of Jimmy Munguia, who is already with Golden Boy. It's a very capable and easy fight to make. I think that would be a massive fight, and the winner comes out of there to fight Canelo would be something special. I think, you know, and these are fights that can happen.
Yeah.
These are fights that should happen, and you know, I would look forward to fighting for that world title 100% and taking it back to Ireland.
That would be great. At that division of 160, who do you think the top dog is right now? We have obviously Canelo, we have Charlo, Triple G, Andrade. Who's top right now?
Canelo 100%. You know, Canelo is he's been proving it. You know, he's beaten everybody that's put in front of him. He's had the fights with Golovkin, proved himself in those. You know, we can't look past Canelo right now. He definitely is the top dog at middleweight, at super middleweight. People can say at light heavyweight.
Yeah.
You know, he's jumping the weights now. He's doing things that some other fighters haven't done before, and I think that, you know, all these fighters need to fight. You know, we all need to fight each other. Like, you know, you look back at the history, you look back at the decades of Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, Duran, all these guys fought each other. Lewis, Tyson, Holyfield, you know, all these guys fought each other. And to really be able to say he's number one, everyone needs to start fighting each other. And I know that that can be difficult for promoters and the way that boxing's gone now. You know, with Mayweather creating the perfect record and everyone wants to stick by this. I think we should maybe look towards the UFC for an example on records.
Hmm.
Like, there's guys there that have 15 wins with like 7 losses and are challenging for world titles. You know, like, this is what the mindset of boxing and boxers, I think, they have to get away from. They have to stop protecting that O.
Yeah.
They have to stop being worried about getting a defeat or losing, and they have to get in there and just fight and win. If you don't win, learn from it, come back and kick ass again. You know, that's what it's all about. People now, if a boxer gets beat, they put him to the one side. Whereas there's so much potential in fighters out there that when they do get beat, they need that little bit of a pat on the back to say, come on, let's go, you can do it again, and get them in there again, give them the opportunities again, let them fight these good guys, let them prove themselves. And then if they don't prove themselves, you know, then you can put them to the one side. But you know, we need to get these chances, we need to get these opportunities, because there's so many talented fighters out there that whenever you fight the best, you need to be willing to get in there and give it absolutely everything. You might not come out on the right side of the result, but learn from it, grow from it, come back a better, stronger fighter, and prove yourself at another higher level. So I think that you know, it's exciting times for boxing now. I think everyone is going to be so hungry
Yeah.
for boxing now coming back, because we've had such an absence of it. The good thing is that nobody has really progressed. Everything has stayed the same because nothing has happened. There was no fighters that were able to go on and, you know, fight a certain guy or improve their records or do this, that, whatever. Everybody has been at a standstill. Everybody is in the exact same position before boxing even stopped. So now it's time to get the ball rolling again, get the fights on, get the big fights made, and let's give the boxing fans what they want, and let's get back in there and start kicking ass again.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you in the whole terms of protecting that. Oh, I think it's as long as we just get the best fights, whether the fighter's undefeated or not, just get the best fights, get the best title championship fights. And speaking on terms of this, if a fight for a world title for you is impossible for whatever reason. There's also fights with, let's say, Hugo Centeno Jr., who I recently talked to, and he mentioned an
Yeah.
interest in a fight with you. There's also Willie Monroe Jr., or even the rematch, let's say, with Torreno Johnson. Are these
Yeah.
all fights that interest you if you can't get the title shot really soon?
100%. These are the types of fights. Like, if I was in LA right now, and if I was in California living
Yeah,
there, everything was, maybe these fights could happen right away. But because I'm in the UK
right.
right now, it's going to have to be the Cullen fight that's going to happen
Yeah,
right away. But the way that I says, the way that boxing is, we need, at the minute, we need to guide ourselves to that world title. We need to get the fights that are going to open the doors for us to become world champions. There's some fights out there that win, lose, or draw, it mightn't put forward, it mightn't put more backwards. And these are the types of things that you need a good team around you. You need a good promoter, a good manager, a good coach that is going to guide you into the right fights that get you to that world title fight. And that's the way the boxing is. Whereas I think in UFC, it's just, we've got to fight for you, no problem, let's go, bang. It doesn't matter who it is, what it's for. UFC is a lot more free flowing in terms
yeah,
of fighting and whoever they fight. Whereas boxing, I think that there's a certain path and a certain journey and a certain fighters that you have to fight to get to that world title fight, to get to that becoming a world champion.
yeah.
And I think the likes of Willie Monroe Jr. has fought some of the world champions out there at the minute. Hugo Centeno Jr. as well has fought some good names, and Turiano Johnson. I don't think, has Turiano fought since the time that he beat me. I'm not too sure that he fought. I think he was meant to fight in a world title eliminator and got injured again. Like, boxing is such a crazy sport. Like, we don't know from one fight to the next what's going to happen. But look, I just want to get back in the ring. I just want to get fighting, and I just want to become world champion, whatever and whoever it takes to get to that place. That's what I want to do, and that's what I'm looking forward to right now, is getting back in there, climbing that ladder straight to the top, and winning that world title.
Nice. Well, and we look forward to seeing you, get to that point as well. Before I let you go, Jason, though, I want to get some quick predictions from you on some big fights that are happening, that are currently on hold, of course. But let's say with Canelo and Golovkin, there's a possibility of seeing the trilogy, maybe next year.
Yeah.
If we see that, who wins in that fight?
The first fight was very close, I think, and a lot of people think that could have went either way. Um, the second fight, I did think Canelo won it. There was a few people saying as well that maybe Golovkin should have been a draw, but I think Canelo won the second fight. And if the third trilogy fight happens, I think that it's going to be a clear, one of the clearest victories for Canelo in the trilogy fight. I think that Canelo's too young, he's too fresh, he's really in his prime right now. Everything is going for him, and I think Golovkin has reached his peak and is coming up over that hill now and is on the slide. And I think Canelo wins very convincingly in the third fight.
Okay, and another trilogy that could possibly happen, of course, in Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. What would you expect to see in that third fight? And are you interested in seeing, down the line, the UK undisputed fight with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua?
I think that Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, I don't think that fight should happen again. I don't see a reason for that fight to happen. It was such a shutout in the second fight for Tyson. And I don't think that Deontay will come back a better fighter from that. I think that Deontay always has that one shot power, though. That's the exciting thing about Deontay. You know, going into that fight for a trilogy, I would be highly confident, like I was in the second fight there, of Fury beating Wilder, but a lot more confident in the third trilogy fight of Fury coming out victorious. But I always have that, oh, Deontay can bang. He's got some serious power behind him.
Yeah.
So I'm not I'm not keen. I'm not a fan on having the trilogy fight between Wilder and Fury. I think that it should just go straight to Joshua and Fury. Let's get that fight on. They're the two best heavyweights in the world right now. They need to fight. It needs to happen. And I think that it's going to be one of the biggest fights heavyweight boxing has seen since the likes of Ali, Foreman, Ali, Frazier, those massive fights. And that's the fight that has to happen. Out of all the fights in every weight class in boxing, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury has to happen.
Is that 50-50, or do you give the edge to one of those fighters?
I give the edge to. I'm going back on my word because when Tyson Fury was out of the ring, we all know that he didn't live a great life. He had a lot of issues, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, mental illnesses. You know, he had, real difficult, challenging times. And I never thought that he could come back from that and compete at such a high level and be successful at it. Whereas I seen him against Wilder, I seen the way that he's trained, I seen the discipline, I seen the hunger in him, and now I have the belief, which I didn't have before in Tyson Fury. I have the belief that Tyson can go in and beat Anthony Joshua. It would be a massive, massive fight. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to be 50-50 on that fight. But I think that Tyson Fury is he's just too elusive, too smart. He's Tyson Fury's got the X factor. You know, people don't know, people can't put their finger on it. People can't like say he's great because Tyson Fury's just got this X factor about him that he can produce the goods on a big night. The two fights that he had before Deontay Wilder weren't great, were nothing special. You know, they were against good lads, but these lads weren't big, massive names and everything. But going in against Wilder, he really proved his worth. He really showed after all the controversy how strong of a character he is, how strong mentally he is. And I think that he can go on and beat Anthony Joshua.
All right. So we'll see what happens with that in the heavyweight division. Last one, Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. Is that a 50-50 fight, or do you give the edge to one of those fighters?
I think that Lopez hasn't really like Lopez is going in against one of the pound for pound best in the world. It can work two ways. He can go in there with absolutely nothing to lose, give it one hell of a fight, and maybe cause an upset. But then on the other hand, he's gone in with somebody that I don't think he's fought nowhere near the level of Lomachenko before. Lomachenko brings something completely different to the table that any other fighter has ever brought to the table before. And I'm definitely going to go with Lomachenko on that there. I think that Lomachenko would won pretty convincingly.
All right. Well, these are all fights that are on hold, and we're going to see if hopefully we can see them at some point this year. And of course, we look forward to seeing you in the ring really, really soon. Jason, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I wish you nothing but the best, lots of health, lots of luck, and just stay safe and stay ready.
And thanks very much for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I hope everyone is well over there in the States. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon.
Absolutely. Same here. All right. You take care, Jason.
Take it easy. Bye bye. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.